Okay, so again, the point of this is to take this ending balance, which is in my books, and this ending balance in the bank statement, 370, and this 1,325, and reconcile them because they should agree with each other. Okay, so on the bank side, I start with my bank ending balance, 370. This is the starting point. I know that this is incomplete because there are things that are in my accounting books that are not yet included in this bank statement. Okay, the first one, deposits in transit, which I've already mentioned. So add deposit in transit, because again, if I look at my bank statement, I only show $130 of deposits. But if I look at my accounting books, which again, this is kind of like my cash balance, I have this 130 deposit, which is in there, but this one, which happened at the end of the month, it's not yet included. So this one is like cash that's still at my business or whatever that I haven't gone to the bank yet to deposit. But it should be included in my cash balance. So I'm going to add that in. Okay, so what else do I need to add in or subtract in? Add for the bank side, really that's like the main one, okay, deposits in transit. What we could have to subtract are checks that are outstanding still. Okay, so if I look in my bank statement, there's 4 checks that got deposited. If I look in my bank statement or my checking account, I've written 6 checks. So I know that some of them are still floating out there, meaning that, the cash is spoken for. It's like cash that I've kind of already like spent, but it's not yet actually been taken out of my bank account. Okay, so my bank account balance is overstated by those checks that are still floating out there. So if I look, I see 622, 23, 24, and 25 are all deposited, but 26 and 27 are still floating out there. And so these two amounts, 85 and 265, I need to subtract out of my bank statement. Okay, so these are subtraction checks outstanding. And it was 265 and 85. Now, I think when you do your homework, it's going to have you list each one individually. You'd have like check outstanding by check number and like list them individually. I'm just putting it as one number, okay? Just for simplicity, okay? And then you can say, is there anything else that's not accounted for in my accounting books or in my bank account that's in here? No, this deposit is now included, and all the checks are included because these 4 were already included, and I just did an adjustment for these 2. So now everything here is included in here, in here, okay? Because this contained most of it, and then whatever was missing, I've now done adjustments. So my adjusted balance equals this starting balance plus the deposits in transit minus this is 1,230. Okay, so now let's do the book side. So my starting point is this ending balance in my accounting books. Okay, 1,325. Okay, so what do I have that's in the bank statement but not here? I can definitely see these 2 bank charges. Okay, I'm gonna have to definitely subtract those. And I also see that this error, okay, if you saw this little star, it says, this is the correct amount for check number 624. So $115 should have been the amount for 624, but in my accounting books, it's only 75. Okay, so basically in my accounting books, I have this, and again, it's a subtraction, right? This is the amount that I'm paying out. So I had $75 as a credit, but really, here's a little more practice with T counts, it should be 115. So what do I got to do to cash to correct for that? How do I go from this to this? Credit $40, right? Because if I did this, then it's going to work. So that means it's a subtraction to cash. That's the error adjustment is going to be a subtraction. Okay, this balance here is overstated by $40 because again, this whatever this should have been 115. If this was 115, then this balance would be $40 lower. So that's the adjustment that I'm going to have to make, at least for the error. So subtract for error, book error, $40. And then I have those two fees, printed checks and service charge. Okay, so printed check charge. So Ella, there you go. They're charging, printed check expense, we'll call it, and then bank fee expense. Okay, so what was it? 35 and 20. And all of these adjustments are subtractions. Okay, so I don't have any deposits that came into the bank statement that I have to account for. These are all going to be subtractions. So I go this minus the sum of this. Okay, and we can see here that they agree with each other. And this shows now that it's complete, Now we've done whatever we needed to the bank statement to include things that were in the books, and things that were in the books or errors we've now corrected. Okay, so now everything here, as I stated, these three things need to have journal entries because really this is the balance in my T account. Okay, so if I looked at my T account for cash, I mean, really what happened, you can see everything here. It was 540. And then, whatever, we had deposits of 130 and then 1,210. And then we had all these checks written, whatever, all these 6 checks. That totaled what? 540, 580. She was 540. Okay, so if I do this, okay, so this is the state of my accounting system. But we know that it actually should be this, right? So we need a total of 95 credit, because if we did that, we would get, we get to the right balance. Okay, so where are these credits going to come from? We need to do 3 journal entries because the total of this is 95. Okay, so they're all going to be credits to cash, all 3 of these. Agree? Because we need to, basically it's this minus this minus this minus this. Okay, so I need 3 credits to cash to make my accounting books correct. Is everyone okay with that? Now the question is, what are the debits going to be? So let's just go through each one. So the book error, okay, so we know that it's going to be a credit to cash of $40. What should my debit be? What do you think? What was this for? So if we look back up here, it was to correct this. So what is it? What should we make the debit? Utilities, right? Utilities expense, probably. Yeah, because it's not a payable. This is actually us writing the check to pay it. So this is going to be utilities expense. Okay, so now this first one is accounted for. Next one, printed check expense. Okay, I'm kind of telling you the account here even. Okay, so printed check expense, debit, credit to cash. Again, cash is always going to be involved here because that's the whole point of this. And then finally, bank fee expense, cash, 20. Okay, so now after I do these 3 journal entries, cash is going to be correct, and these 3 balances will also be correct, these 3 expense accounts. Okay, so again, everything that appears on the book side of the reconciliation, it is required that you do a journal entry to actually change the balances to reflect what those costs were, or those those credits to cash or debits to cash. You need to actually go in and then debit or credit cash accordingly.